I want to make it clear right off the bat that I am not brigading against microtransactions. I definitely do think it has its place in a video game that is supposed to be making money. I might get a lot of hate for that, but whatever. But today we're going to be talking about the impact Treasure Hunter has on the low-level gameplay experience. There are two types of microtransactions in this game. The first is Solomon's Store, a store which offers, through the purchase of rune coins or loyalty points, the ability to purchase different cosmetics and auras that are useful throughout the game. While the auras do provide a distinct in-game advantage, you can buy them with loyalty points, which essentially means you are going to accrue more of these as your membership continues, so it's basically a reward for staying subscribed to the game. But that's not the model I'm going to be talking so much about in this video, because it's not really super impactful to the low-level gameplay experience. What I've currently got my sights on, and the reason I want to talk about this, is Treasure Hunter. Now, like I said at the beginning of the video, I definitely think that microtransactions have their place inside of a video game. We all rely on Jagex to be making money through our gameplay in order to sustain new content and keep the game alive. In fact, last year, they announced a record $210.9 million revenue, which is pretty big. That means they're growing. And it's in part, of course, thanks to old school Runescape's success as well. And I also do want to point out the fact that they donated a combined total of £204,000 to support the work of mental health charity partners through the pandemic, which I definitely think deserves a lot of praise. Maybe it's about saving face. I don't really care. It's money going towards a good cause. That's good enough for me. So why even bother talking about this? Who cares? If I support microtransactions, then I should just keep my mouth shut. Well, over the past like a week and a half, 2 weeks, I have been playing on a new series I created where I started as a fresh level 3 account. Across my gameplay, I have accumulated many treasure hunter spins through quests, your daily keys. I've gotten tons of oddments, which I've then used to buy more spins. And I started to notice something extremely strange with this. I can basically skip anything I want to at a low level. I consistently have oddments available to me to buy lamps, to buy bonus XP, and to buy more treasure hunter spins if the promotion is good enough to let me do that. Let's take agility, for example. I have barely trained any agility on this account. It's mostly been done through Treasure Hunter, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it stands out to me as very interesting. If there's content that I don't want to do at a low level just because it drags on and it's super boring and it's not really engaging or feels like a good use of my time, I'm gonna skip it. And as a player who's been around for quite a few years at this point, I know what's worth it to skip and what's not. But then I start to wonder about a new player and how they feel about this. What exactly are they skipping through at the early levels of this game? Most of the early game sucks. I'm just going to admit that. It's not fun. You're gonna do a whole bunch of quests that don't really mean anything. You're gonna splash constantly on monsters that you're trying to kill, and this game heavily incentivizes end game experiences. And I'm all for that. That's just the direction the game has headed in, and I'm not complaining. But what I'm really curious about is, as a new player, how often you feel incentivized to buy keys, to progress your account and muck through the things that you don't want to do normally. I'm curious just how often that happens. Maybe I'm making a big deal out of nothing. Maybe this video doesn't need to be made, which there's probably some merit to that. Because as soon as you're out of Treasure Hunter keys, it's gonna show you a glimpse of what's next, and it could be something really huge. As a new player, that 200 million GP coin stack looks pretty damn good. Or we take it in the adverse direction. There are tons of people who play different MMOs. We have Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, New World has just come out, and all MMO players are tuned into the fact that microtransactions are real and they're a threat. So if all of a sudden you start up your brand new RuneScape 3 account and boom, there's 2 treasure hunter keys waiting for you. You click on it, you see what it's all about, it's stuck to your screen until you exit off of it or engage with it, and you use your 2 keys, and then there's an option to buy more that's just staring you in the face. That is a sign of danger, and that is something that players run away from. And all of this just is asking me the question of why RuneScape 3 is not really getting that many new players, and why they're not sticking around when they do show up. And I can't help but to wonder if that is because microtransactions are here, they're looking at you, and they want you to play. But that's also not to say that it's all bad. I've been able to skip some super tedious stuff with the click of a button without it costing me any in-game money. And so at the end of the day, it's such a huge gray area for me, and I just wanted to jump in and give my 2 cents on this topic since there seems to be so much interest and talk around microtransactions in this game. I know this video is kind of rambly, it's just something that I've noticed going through the game. It's like early game experiences and Treasure Hunter truly do go hand in hand. I pushed out a whole bunch of quests when I first started my account simply because there was an insane Treasure Hunter promotion going on that I did not want to miss. All of a sudden, 4 days later, I'm left with like a bank value of like 16 million GP that I absolutely did not earn. I still have no idea what's a good way of making money on this account, and I probably won't for a while, and yet I have money to train skills. It's kind of weird. And now you can say I'm gonna sit on the sidelines, I'm not gonna engage in microtransactions, and yeah, that definitely works. Or you can go the other way and play an Iron Man if you want to. I just wanted to point it out as kind of a weird trait that I've noticed in my early game experience. I hope you derived some pleasure from this little rant. I don't know exactly what the point of it is still, but there you go.